And action. Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's a Long Story, a thrice weekly campaign set in the wonderful world of North Imea. For those of you who are watching live right now, I apologize that we have started so far behind. We're literally an hour late. But a good reason of why we are an hour late is because of the new digs. If you just look at the new digs here. So work in progress, but we have some things that are making us look a little bit more professional. I'm really excited to look at this maybe, a year or so later and just start laughing to myself. But yeah, so welcome. Let's see. Okay, great. So, like I said, we're currently sitting with our Wednesday crew, the Mongoose Crew. Everybody, look at the screen and say hi.
Hi.
Awesome. So we are jumping into tonight's episode, coming back from some weird expanded space. And I'll let our royal scribe Lorianne clue us in with the details. Lorianne, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Okay. So last week we all had our little own mini adventures. Milo found himself in a forest, and with the help of Orin, he determined he was still in Imea. He came across a familiar looking bird who he's pretty sure that he saw on the battlefield in the grove. And then he proceeds to sit with the bird while he, I think, was mending his clothing, trying to figure out what to do next. A little later, a man approaches Milo and introduces himself as Cavish. He explains that the bird, was it Celestra?
Celestra, yeah.
Okay, that the bird Celestra told him that he was troubled. Milo then proceeds to tell him everything and learns he's not far from the grove. They share a meal and chat for a bit, and after divulging his life story, Milo shows Cavish that he can turn into a werewolf, and surprisingly, Cavish is not scared. Milo learns that Cavish is a fire genasi, and then they both hear something emerging from the water near them, and they go to greet it. And then Eldrin and Guar found themselves hiding behind some crates in an Aarakocran marketplace. Eldrin reached out to her father and learns that he heard Tal's voice as well. Guar attempted to disguise himself as an Aarakocran and basically escort Eldrin through the marketplace. But the plan quickly falls apart when Eldrin fails to be stealthy. Guar tried to intervene when Eldrin is surrounded by guards, but since he can't actually speak their language, they quickly realize that he is not one of them. Eldrin and Guar are brought to a room that resembles sort of like a jail cell. Eldrin checks in with Noros, while Guar tries checking in with Broomhilda, but unfortunately Broomhilda does not respond back. They are questioned by an elderly Kenku and learn they are in, I don't know if I got this right, Farah? Is that what it's called?
Farah with an F, yes.
Okay. They learn that they're there. And basically that it's about 3 weeks away from Dwendelver by foot, 3 days by flight. They tell this nice elderly Kenku that they just need to rest so that they can leave without causing any trouble. Guar agrees to take first watch, and Eldrin is going to attempt to try to get some sleep so we can get them back to Honoria to regroup. Saren and Gerard find themselves on top of a mountain in a snowstorm. After traveling for 3 hours, she comes across a hill giant who is crying. Saren approached him and asked if he's okay, and also tried to figure out where the grove is in relation to where she's at. The giant confirms that he heard Tal's voice in his head from their conversation and that the grove is dangerous, but he does offer to help her get back there if she helps find his brother who was sent there to fight, who she definitely killed. But the giant doesn't know that. Wilbur finds himself in the middle of the ocean on top of a coral reef. The first thing he does, because he's a good friend, is look through Eldrin's eyes to make sure she's safe. He watches her and Guar bicker and make plans to go back to Honoria. Wilbur is hurt that Eldrin did not check in on him and is questioning if she even cares. And then Wilbur hears a voice behind him and turns around to see the person he wanted to see so badly, Cerilius, who asks what he missed. And that's where we ended.
Fantastic. Very nice.
He didn't actually want to see him so badly. That was sarcastic.
That was just so you know.
/S.
Just so you know.
so you know that was sarcasm. Cool. I'll be total honesty. I was checking on the stream the whole time, but that sounded right on that side. I still had you on, so
I'll be totally honest. I put you on mute, so I'm just going to trust that you are.
Because I trust you. Cool. I am now noticing that has anybody still noticed that they can handle Bardbot anywhere? Does anyone know where he is?
I don't see him.
No, there was like a little notification that said hidden users or something, and I just closed that.
Yeah, I closed it too. I exited out.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere, but that's okay. We can figure that out. Worst case scenario, we'll just put him as a player, and that's not going to affect the stream at all. So,
you can click on in the bottom right corner. It's like the little face next to the question mark, and then you can control the sound.
Thank you.
And you can make it go away, so you don't have to look at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Great. Sorry, everybody who's watching the stream has no idea what we're talking about, but technical stuff, just trying to kind of figure out things. Awesome. So jumping back in, I think at this point there's kind of a precedence that's kind of set with every place that we're now in. So none of them necessarily have to be before the other in any way. So I'd like you guys just roll initiative. We'll do a non-combat initiative, and we'll kind of have the set reset to see who's going next.
Is Mike rolling for me and him like last time?
Oh, good question. Well, if Mike did last time, you do this time.
I'm gonna roll again then. Because that wasn't a real roll because I didn't know.
All right.
It was the same roll. That's amazing.
That's what you get. Fantastic. The quality of the upload. Okay, what do we get?
10.
10.
Also 10.
No way.
Okay.
I got a 9.
Wow.
What's everyone's dex? You know.
I got a 12.
No. We're not. we're not doing that. Okay. Everybody re-roll, I guess.
Joe, you don't want us all to just start talking at you all at once?
I mean, that is what my life is.
I'm sorry, Mike. I got a 4 this time.
I got an 8. But
Okay.
I rolled a 4.
That's funny. 5?
5.
I got a 7.
What is happening?
Technically, you didn't have to re-roll.
Hang on, I just want to roll just for funsies. I just want to see what I end up getting.
Sure, just for funsies, go ahead.
Natural 1. So like that's great.
So no matter what, we're going last, buddy.
I mean, hey, might as well get them all out now, right?
Yeah,
All
exactly.
Good. All good. Okay, cool. It was the highest was an 8, I think.
Yep.
Was that Jamie?
No, it's Kayla.
No, it's Kayla.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. We
I don't
will
want to go first.
We will go.
That's
from
too
there.
damn bad.
That's too damn bad. The upload from yes.
It seems like Saren and Mile are the closest to the Grove.
So, not okay, cool. All right. So let's go ahead and jump in with. Well, okay. So this is interesting. I think we'll kind of push things a little bit more forward as you are now on the back of a giant. Surprisingly, getting on the back of a giant, you get down that mountain much quicker. So we'll kind of push it to the space there. I have marked yet for this giant.
What?
What?
Your audio got real weird.
What are you doing? What's
You
happening?
just sounded like you were speaking like a sim.
Did we get? Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enunciate, Joe.
Sorry, I did. I will say I did burp into the mic, so I'm wondering if like we're trying to figure out how to compress that sound. Oh, fun. Okay. Did we get a name for our giant friend? I did not mark it down. Okay, great, cool.
His name is Nope.
Obviously.
Can it please be Nope?
In Saren's defense, she also didn't get the names of the ones she murdered, so.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if Sarah knows that it's the one that was like Wilbur's friend and teacher or not, or if that's just me that knows that.
I was gonna say I know you specifically asked that. So
because you don't even know that. Well, no, we know that Wilbur learned. No, we didn't. We learned. We know Wilbur learned giant so that he wouldn't get stepped on, but he never told us that he learned giant from a giant. He could have just taken giant in wombat school.
Yeah, you've seen the wombat school. It's unlikely.
But would Sarah know it was that giant because the other one was an Etten and the other one was a female giant, or was there more?
There was another male giant too.
Okay. So she knows it was one of those two and she killed both of them, I think. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, cool. So we will come down to so coming down the mountain. And I apologize. It's been a week. I believe you haven't necessarily given. Yeah. No. I think I remember now. So no direction has been given. Just basically down, right? So we cut.
He said he would take her to the grove.
Oh, he did say that?
I asked him where the grove was, and I think he kind of like gestured, but I don't know if it was.
He threw a boulder and then
he
said,
threw a boulder.
Yeah, and then said that the grove is dangerous, and then if she helped find his brother who is in the grove, he would take her.
There we go. Awesome. Oh boy, that is interesting. Oh, I'm excited about that. Great. Cool. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to turn Barbutt down a little bit. Okay. It's definitely louder overall. That's at 32. Let's see. I'm actually going to check one thing. I'm so sorry for anyone who's watching the live stream, but awkward silence for a second. Oh, it's pretty good on mix. Okay, cool. All right, so traveling along, there's been, we'll say it's been probably about at least, I'd say the span of time that Saren, it would normally take you to scale down that mountain, closer to probably at maybe 6 or 7 hours. It's now taken probably like closer to like 20 minutes, considerably like, and actually I will say this, go ahead and roll me one more Constitution saving throw.
Okay. 13.
13.
That's with advantage.
Okay, cool. 13. I will say over the course of that 20 minutes, as you see him kind of jumping from rock to rock, fully not really paying any mind to your well-being, either consciously or subconsciously. 7, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17. Over the course of those 20 minutes, you take 17 points of bludgeoning damage. As you are rocked back and forth.
Wow, she finally took damage. That's great.
Finally. That's why I was okay rolling.
I deserve that.
Yeah. So you finally touch down to what you perceive to be the floor as like a final, just like smacking your forehead into the hard, like strong skin, like it's rhino skin, almost the like level of what you're holding on to, and you smack into the back of his head. So you're just kind of like trying to hold yourself, and you're kind of bracing for another jump that doesn't come. You do start to feel movement of. As I would say, at least that journey coming down has been in total silence. But I'd say at this point, you notice there's less sound of rocks falling from the jumps going back and forth. There's less sound of wind. All you hear is the sound of birds in the trees. And I would say at this point, actually, I'd allow give me a perception check.
Okay. 26.
26, really good. I hate to ask this, but I what was it on the die?
16.
16. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I'll say with a 16, the trees, the wildlife, everything kind of looks fairly familiar. You get the feeling that it's unlikely that you're on like another continent or in like a distant land. Actually, I would say with a 26, you feel pretty confident that you're still on the same plane, especially seeing as there was a rock that was thrown in the way towards the grove. You get the feeling that you're. I think with the 26, you get the feeling that you're definitely not having to like. This is tricky to talk about. Because I don't know if you guys ever really. I don't know if Saren ever really saw a map.
I'm
gonna say it's your call,
either.
Saren, if you can
Dark
recall.
had
It's
the
been a long
map.
time, so
I don't know if he ever showed it to you.
I mean, she was like traveling through this area. So she could have had like maybe like a vague map, but not like where like mountain ranges and things are, but not really like names of places. I'd say she could have got like a drawn map from passing through a town or whatever.
I would say I would say most likely a lot of the drawings that you would have had. I get what you're saying. A lot of the drawings from the distant land where you're coming from, kind of really stop around this area. So the area that you traversed on that. So I would say not likely. So we'll say in this case, you get the feeling that your days and knowing how quickly you went down that mountain, you feel like you might be able to take it a little bit easier if your giant friend would oblige. But yeah, your call. So you start to kind of feel the actually. Yeah, no, it's only been 20 minutes. Yeah, so you're moving along with this giant, but there's definitely some space for talking.
The first thing she's going to do is look behind her and see where Gerard's at.
You have Gerard's stat block, right?
I do.
Give me an athletics or acrobatics if whatever's marked on there as a plus.
Athletics.
Cool.
Is plus 8, 19.
19? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Probably maybe like a minute behind.
Okay, cool.
I will say this though.
I was gonna say he has a standing leap, long jump, and all that.
Yeah, it's super, super, super crazy. But I will say this, the speed doesn't necessarily account to the fact of the jump. So I will say with your perception check on there, you also see that Gerard is definitely winded for sure.
Okay.
To put things in perspective, just and this will be the last thing I said this, you would have probably had to have taken at least 3 breaks. It would be unlikely that you actually even made it down the mountain in a day. Mm-hmm. Because of all the work. So, yeah.
So she yells up to the giant, "Hey, now that we made it down, do you think we could pick up my friend back there?"
What?
My friend, he looks tired from climbing down the mountain.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, that one.
Much easier to carry if you break in half and bring over shoulder.
No. Friend, I don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
He's a good warrior.
Later.
Could we take a break then? Possibly.
Persuasion check.
Nat 20. 23.
You need to give me that scene of what happens in how you convince this giant, because you know you're gonna do it. So give me a little more if you can.
So she jumps down off of the giant's back. Can I do an acrobatics check to do like a fancy little jump?
With a nat 20, it's super cool.
Okay.
You're describing
Cool.
the scene. The scene is yours.
So she jumps down off his back and she goes over to Gerard and just pets his head, and then she's gonna just pick him up and walk over and say, "Friend, up there." Like, we take a break and then we can go.
Family.
Yes.
Okay.
He's my family.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Take a break. You see him just kind of plop right down, fully like smashing like a, I would say like something that you probably saw like as you were like kind of gliding down off of the giant's back. You saw like a space. It was like, okay, good. That'd be a good place to kind of sit. And you see him just sit down and smash into smithereens. It's just sits right down. You see the smoke kind of like clear out. Just point of reference. Obviously, you've seen giants fairly recently. This giant is a little bigger. I think we described the other ones like kind of closer, like 25 to 30 feet, right? Mm-hmm. This one's probably closer to about 40 feet. But yeah, so he sits down, just kind of like, he does have like a constant, especially now that the sun is like kind of like beating down, you see he kind of has a constant like kind of frown on his face. You see him consistently kind of like looking up in the air and trying to kind of maneuver his head. I think he also probably, you see him get up and try to put himself closer to a tree and is still like kind of squinting.
So what's your name?
Name Crackus.
Hi, Crackus. I'm Saren.
Saren.
Yep. And this is Gerard.
Gerald.
Close enough.
Well. Do you have food?
and she like looks through her bag. No, I don't have any food.
Long journey take to nightfall.
Wow. We are a long way from the grove. I can go hunt some and bring some stuff back.
Okay. You need me come?
No, you can just stay here.
Okay. The thought of Saren, the thing like flips across your mind, like you just trying to like be your stealthy self and just hearing. I think you're also like with just your natural survival thing, like going like I'm gonna need to like walk at least 20 minutes before anything would even be thinking of being around this area based on what they just heard.
Mm-hmm.
So. Cool. So you go out, and we don't. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Might as well. Rolling is fun. Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, cool. With the dirty 20, I say you spend about a good 20 minutes just kind of like heading out. You also probably are taking your time. So I'll say maybe it's closer to 30 minutes because you're wanting Gerard to kind of catch his breath. You manage to see a creature that is I would say is closer resembling like a smaller bear. You see the similar kind of like brown sort of brown pelt. You can't really see the face from your direction as it's kind of like moving away from you slowly. But I'd say it's about the size of like a sun bear. So like a sun bear is like usually like closer to like maybe like a total size would be like closer to like 4.5, maybe 5 feet tall, I think.
So she's gonna look for the nearest like rock or bush to hide in, or rock to hide behind, and get out her longbow.
Awesome. So you do that. You see it's kind of like it's moving. It's like giant haunches. You see it kind of turn slightly, and I think you probably take that moment to be able to kind of get in position, and you kind of knock an arrow and kind of draw it back, waiting for the head to kind of turn. As you see the head turn, instinctively you do not wait. You do not wait for the head to stop. You know the velocity of how it's moving. You're very keen on those types of things, and you let loose the arrow. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll, please.
26. Jeez.
Good. Awesome. With a 26, as you see the creature kind of turn its head, you see it is a little shocking and might just kind of throw you just a bit, but I think your instinct kicks in faster than your conscious brain kind of goes in. So you're loosing the arrow before you're fully seeing the figure that kind of turns its head towards you. You actually see a jowled green like scaly skin head with these like bright yellow spikes on the top of its head. The jowl set is like kind of like similar to like what you would see on a chameleon. You see the lizard head kind of just turns right as soon as goes right in, goes straight down.
Jeez. So she's gonna Can she kind of like scout the area and approach it slowly just to make sure there aren't any more?
Yeah.
Just like creep through the trees, looking
I'm
around.
going to say roll me a separate... Well, yeah. Go ahead and roll me a separate survival check.
Okay. 21.
21. Okay. With the 21, as you're kind of like looking around, trying to see if there is any other creatures like it around, you're kind of sitting there trying to be quiet, but knowing that the longer you keep a dead body or a corpse out there, the more likely you're going to attract other animals. So, I'd say it is probably about. You're probably just about to kind of say, okay, cool, we're good, step forward, until you hear a noticeable growl from Gerard. I'd like you to actually roll me a perception check for Gerard.
Okay. He actually has a stat for that. 16.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Group video mix. Great. Give me 1 second as I'm trying to make sure I can. Why something's gonna work. Check. Okay, great. Miranda, I am sending you on Discord just so that you can kind of get it wherever you want it. This link that I just sent you is the link to be able to watch the room. So you can put that on on any other screen if you need to, and that shouldn't do anything to our stream at all. Are you muted? Okay, yeah, you are. I see it over there. Okay, great. I just want to make sure that was... You're good. I just want to make sure that was you and not the system. Okay, cool. Sorry, 16?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You hear Gerard give a very deep guttural growl that you've heard a few times, indicating danger. And then you see, and Gerard has like very, I think even like, I'm going to just check something real quick on the Moorbounders. Yeah, so we haven't talked about what Gerard looks like in a minute. So Gerard's like kind of like tusks are actually coming in pretty well, unless you had chosen, I don't know if you said this or not, but unless you had chosen to try to like kind of like shave them down or whatever. I don't think you have. I think you're, CERN wouldn't do that. So you see that they're actually kind of coming out to about eye level, but kind of like pushing out this way. So they're coming out like this and going like that. Moorbounders' ears are hilariously small, I'll say. So very panther-like, but even smaller than a panther's. You see the little tiny ears growl, and then you hear Gerard immediately stop growling, and then the ears flick straight up. You see Gerard's head cocked to the side a little bit, and then you see Gerard take off, going easily going its full, 80 feet?
70.
70 feet, going 70 feet to your right.
Jeez. So she's gonna kind of like not full audio, like she's gonna try to be quiet, but just like Gerard, like, and she starts to slowly follow after him.
Okay.
At first, and if it seems like there's nothing directly around her, she'll speed up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you rolled your own perception check. I'll say you don't hear anything else. I will say again, the longer you leave that body, the more something else might come to get it. So keeping that in mind, you start to kind of speed up, but you're kind of, I would say, in your natural survival, you kind of clock where that interesting sort of creature is, and you mark it kind of in your mind's eye as you start to move. We'll say if you can give me a speed and the idea of how quickly you're thinking you're moving.
After she kind of like gets her bearings, I think she would just go her full speed after him,
Okay, cool.
which is
Awesome.
45.
45. Okay.
I think
awesome.
I think it's a level up already. No. Why is it so much? Oh wait.
Is it something you're wearing, maybe?
Yeah. No, scratch that. I changed it because I had Long Strider up, which I do not have anymore, so it should be 35.
Gotcha.
There we go.
35.
It's like, that doesn't look right.
Cool. So we'll say 35 feet movement. You can still hear in the distance that Gerard is continuing to move. So mechanically speaking, Gerard took another turn to move. So now at this point, 160. This is where my math gets really annoying. So I'm going to say this. Eventually, and Gerard is straight too. So I will say Gerard is like, Gerard's using action, bonus action, just like you would. So we're going to negate that in the math of it. But I'm going to say, eventually you hear Gerard stop, but it's about, I'd say before you hear Gerard stop, it's been about maybe 2 minutes since you've been away from that body. You're also continuously moving. So to your right, you're continuously moving away from Caracas.
Okay, so I'm not going to go like past him.
Not at all. You're going the opposite way. Like, so you went north and you're continuing to go north.
Am I able to like turn around and go to Krakus and see if he can go get the body?
Sure. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing because you're leaving Gerard with whatever is Gerard's running after.
Okay.
But it's your call. I just want to make the parameters very clear.
Yeah, she'll go after Gerard.
Okay.
Can she dash to make herself faster?
So you can. My thoughts were Gerard's doing the same thing. Okay. So what we're doing is we're negating the because both of you can do that as a bonus action, which means you can also do it as an action, right? So so we're kind of negating that in a sense. But I will say eventually you don't hear the rough kind of rustling of the leaves in the distance. You do hear a steady stream as you're moving. So say it took you 5 minutes to get to this spot. You stop hearing the sound. About another 3 minutes, you definitely hear that stream. And I would say a stream means open space, right? It means most likely less things to kind of hide around, most likely. So I imagine you probably slow down a little bit enough to be able to give me another perception check.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually have you do that with disadvantage.
Okay. I literally can't get less than a dirty 20 because of reliable talent.
Right. Yep. Good call. Great. I just love how reliable talent just totally negates disadvantage. It's crazy.
Yep.
Cool. So with the dirty 20, you see you see Gerard just like by the stream, actually kind of like standing in the stream and just drinking from the stream.
She's gonna immediately run over to him.
Okay, cool. You run over And as you run over, I'd like you to roll me. You gotta relate this to something on your skill side, but rogues get really tricky around this spot. And on purpose, like, just for the record, I'm not trying to negate what makes a rogue awesome. I'm just trying to make it feasible in reality. Let's do this. I haven't opened these in a new window yet. So we'll do that. Okay, for Saren. Saren, give me a... Oh, geez. Wow. I've never noticed how high your investigation check is. Give me an investigation check.
Gladly. Oh my god. And I got a 19. So 18.
Okay. Okay,
or
cool.
28. Jesus.
You get... Okay, cool. Roll a perception check on... okay, all right. Can you do me a favor? Can you tell me what Gerard's perception is?
It is a +5.
+5. Okay, cool. And you got a 28?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I also rolled a 19. So you managed to touch to the banks of the water before you realize those horns aren't going exactly the right way. You actually see, excuse me, the tusks. You see the tusks are actually kind of like wrapping and going down, almost like a ram's horn.
She immediately stops and backs up.
Cool. As you back up, you catch that something's wrong, and you're starting to kind of look around, and you see familiar... what color is Gerard's eyes? Like a yellow?
Yellow, yeah.
Yellow. You see familiar yellow eyes looking behind the reeds about maybe 10 feet back from you.
Shit. She's gonna make an attempt to stealth her way into hiding behind something as soon as possible.
Yeah, give me a stealth check.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
No, 22. I have a 12.
22. Okay, that is a difference. With a 22, you are able to. Yeah, you can't roll below 22 for stealth. That's crazy. Okay, yeah. So I shouldn't have even let you roll. Because I can't even see you even with a nat 20. Actually, no, I could, but I rolled. Okay, I rolled a 15. So for this one, you do see at now what you determined to not be Gerard. You see the Moorbounder lift their head. And they're definitely in a space where they heard something, but they do not see you as you... Are you trying to get closer to Gerard?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Cool. So you stop yourself in the reeds as you both are sitting, waiting, watching this other Moorbounder. And with that, we're going to pause you. Very cool. Awesome. I'm gonna rely on you guys. Who's next? Okay, cool. Milo. All right. I do not actually even have to change the sound. Very similar in sound. As you and Cavish are pushing away through the brush, as you hear this massive amount of water, kind of like moving around, like something big is coming out of the water. You see Cavish put a hand on you, and he's casting aid. As he says to you, again, I'm still trying to figure out Cavish's voice, but as Cavish says to you, "You got this. It's okay." And you push past the last reed to see a giant skull emerging from the water.
Duchess.
You see Cavish immediately go to cast a spell as soon as seeing what do you say to Cavish, knowing that Cavish is in full attack mode?
Milo's gonna honestly not say anything to Cavish. He's gonna drop his staff and just run up to Duchess.
Okay.
And
okay.
Yeah, he's just gonna run up to Duchess and like pet one of her tentacles.
Awesome. Okay, cool. As you do that, Cavish, who is not entirely sure if you're under some sort of dominate person spell, immediately sends a very strong firebolt against Duchess. I never gave you a stat block for Duchess, have I yet?
No.
Cool. Well, that probably hits with a dirty 20. So you see Duchess immediately get hit like right below one of the eye stalks. As you see the all however many legs that Duchess has is like kind of like moving up in the air, excited to see you, and that is like a quick shot to get like right there. Duchess takes damage and immediately pushes past you to move towards Cavish. What do you do?
Milo's going to sprint to between them and say, hey, everybody, like, calm down. Duchess is a friend. Cavish, you're a friend. Cavish, meet Duchess. Duchess, Cavish.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me, because this is D&D, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check. Do a straight roll and then roll with disadvantage. So tell me what both rolls are.
All right, straight roll was dirty 20.
Nice.
And then the disadvantage was a 5.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you hear Cavish say, "I'm so sorry, friend. Get back. Celestra, I need you to roll initiative."
That is a 12.
Okay. Okay. Cavish is first. Give me a second. So that's just a reset of points. That's not really the one. I was really hoping you would roll higher than me right now. 1 second. Other way, D&D Beyond's going super slow. Sorry, 1 second. Also, it's a good time to talk about the sponsor for the week, D&D Beyond. Just kidding. Sorry.
Is it Blue Apron? It's always Blue Apron.
It's always Blue Apron.
Joe, how do you spell Krakus?
However you see fit.
Okay.
That's. I mean, he doesn't know how to spell.
Fair. So Krkas sounds giant enough, right?
Sure, I love it.
Okay.
He spells it with a big ass thumbprint.
I'll say this because I don't need to follow the confines of D&D for this. You see as Celestra comes flying in through the trees. You see Cavish pretty much just go full fire elemental, like slams the staff down. Staff is now completely gone. Just a full, like he's probably grows a couple inches. Just a being of full flame goes and completely runs full force and just you're trying to stand in front of a large, I believe a huge creature. So I would say, yeah, you don't have like a sentinel or any feat like that would be able to defend from this. So so you see Cavish makes a attack. Do me a favor, roll me a d20.
It's a 10.
10? Okay, cool. And full on slams in hard against the like carapace of like the shoulder of Duchess. You see that force kind of ripples out as Duchess, just to put things in a damage perspective. Takes 4, 7, or sorry, 4, 8, it's 12. Rolling really bad. 13, 14, 18, 25. 25 points of fire damage. I will say most likely he has another attack, but I would say for the sake of the scene, you move pretty quickly. I will allow you to be able to kind of take your turn in between this turn that's happening. It is your turn, and Duchess is next.
So I'm gonna again stand in front of. Nope, his name's gone.
Cavish.
Cavish, yeah, sorry. I'm gonna stand in front of Cavish and say, seriously, Duchess is my pet, my friend. It's complicated. We're close. We don't need to fight. And then is going to like hold his hands up as like a peace and try and calm Duchess down, because I'm sure she's squealing and acting all sorts of crazy.
Okay. I will say this as you're discussing this, go ahead and roll me an insight check.
Insight was a 21.
21. Cavish is fully convinced that you're under some sort of spell of this creature. So at this point in initiative, I don't think persuasion. I think persuasion's not going to work here.
Yeah.
At least not like that.
Yeah, I don't want to fight Cavish. He's hotter now, but he was hot.
Roll better.
No, I refuse. Milo's going to I assume as he ran over, realized there was about to be some danger. As he ran back in between Cavish and Duchess, he picked up his staff So Milo's going to no, he's not going to use the staff. He's going to use his an unarmed strike and punch Cavish in the chest.
Okay.
That is a 28 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And he's going to use a charge of his. He's going to use a charge of his wraps to. Where'd they go? There they go. He's going to use a charge of his wraps to push him back and deal a little bit more damage.
Okay.
So it was 10 damage, and then it's got a 1 second.
You're good.
It's got to make a strength check to see if he gets pushed back.
Okay, you got it. I would also like you to roll a luck check for me.
Nat 20.
Holy shit. Fantastic. I'm not going to roll
Every
a
other
strength
roll
check
has
then.
been crap.
Yeah, I love this. Cool. You send and this is one attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say with the nat 20, that is makes me very angry in the evil DM way. So you send your wraps that are magical, but they're very papery into a fire elemental's chest.
Mm-hmm.
You do feel, I'll say, RP wise, you do feel the singe immediately as you send in. Actually, I'll give you this. I'll do this. I'm going to say you take 12 points of fire damage from hitting fire, and you. And I mean, like hot as in like,
yeah.
Like a source of a house fire. You get what I'm saying? Like that hot.
Yeah.
So you take that damage, but you do send him flying backwards, and you see that flame go out. I will say it is the equivalent of a stunning strike in that nat 20. And you look back and you see maybe a little strand that had like hung off from your wraps is just lightly on fire, and you kind of like put it out with your fingers.
Thanks for not taking my wraps from me.
I was gonna take them. Fully stunned. So I'd say this is a good point to kind of collect yourself. How much do I want to give you that nat 20? I will say roll another No, because you managed your first roll. I think was a 13 on your normal persuasion check, right? Yeah. So I'll say 13 was enough to convince Duchess. Let me handle this was kind of the way that I think Duchess is looking at this. And Cavish has not attacked you yet, so that's a big difference. Stunning strike, equivalent of stunning strike working straight up. 10 feet back, fully immobilized. Now I would say it would be a space where you can try to convince the person that you are not under any sort of spell.
Mm-hmm. So Milo's going to turn around to Duchess and say, Duchess, can you just step back into the water? Give me 20 feet. Just step back into the water a bit. And while Duchess is, getting some distance between her and the fire, or the former fire, Milo's going to go over to Cavish and while he's on the ground and kind of kneel down next to him and make sure he's like okay and not show that his hand is really is in a lot of pain right now.
Okay.
But to kind of tend to Cavish after knocking him back.
Okay. Cool. forgot about one other factor here. Okay, great. Okay, so you kind of like lean into Cavish, who is, for the intents and purposes of this turn, is not necessarily unconscious, like is awake, but like is just stuck in a space here.
Wait, never mind.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I just had an idea. Can I, as I'm like tending to him, use my know your truth to like in reverse and say like Duchess is a good friend. I had to leave a long time ago, and I was very excited to see her.
I love that you left her like a day and a half ago.
It's been a day and a half though.
It's a long journey to get where you are right now. Yeah, that's way too creative for me to not say yes to. I love that. Yes, please roll and know your truth.
It is a 23.
Okay, cool. All right. You see Cavish come to as you are explaining this. You see him kind of like, go ahead.
Can I like color this a little bit as Milo uses know your truth?
Yes.
I imagine this is a phrase that he heard from Orin quite often, as he like, you're like sparring and Orin knocks his feet out from under him and Orin says, know your truth, meaning like stand up straight, be grounded. And Milo would, as he's touching Cavish's shoulder, would say, know this truth. Duchess is a friend of mine and was trying to protect me.
I love it. I love that. That's super cool. So as that happens, there's a space where Milo, as the one with certainly no magical prowess, but things just happen to. You see as your hand extends, there's a space very similar to like a what I believe you've seen from Saren. You see your hand kind of extend downward in like almost a multiple motion as you see Orin's hand is also on the shoulder. So like you see that kind of like shadowy effect, not shadowy effect, like kind of like a bluish light sort of effect come down. And you see Cavish kind of blinks and gives a big smile and just starts like, I think just starts laughing. As this is happening, in the heat of the battle that is going on, you feel a taloned hand on your shoulder as you like get the chance to kind of like just look up for a second and see a giant blue bird. Very similar to about the size of Broomhilda's Tressum, clutch your shoulder and clutch Cavish's shoulders and transport you back to where you were on the campfire.
Okay.
As you're looking up at Celestra in a much bigger form, you start to notice that the plumage from the plumage that's kind of coming down actually drifts into a bluish sort of flame as you immediately realize that Celestra is most definitely not just a bird. Or not any bird you've seen before. But pulls you both safe from harm as they were not a part of this interaction. And Cavish kind of just like gets up, kind of dusts off his feet, dusts off his shorts, and is still kind of laughing. Apologies. But worth it to see that display. Let's go meet your friend.
Not at all. Sorry for the confusion. I didn't expect to see her here. Yeah, I'm curious to see how she got here.
Cool.
Knowing full well she just scuttled, but
just cuts to just Duchess just moving it, just
making her way downtown.
Making her way downtown in a primordial crab way of like a speed walker. Yeah.
Just Duchess and the Mall Walkers.
Duchess and the Mall Walkers, baby. It's just a giant primordial crab with a giant skull on her back. Yeah. God. I just connected the dot. There's a giant skull on her back. Interesting.
Old move.
Well, no, that's always been there. I've just connected that.
No, yeah.
This is a tricky time for this to be present. Cool. So, you guys awkwardly kind of make your way back to the scene as Celestra comes back to normal form and kind of like stays on Cavish's shoulder. As you both kind of approach the water that just has two little eye stalks that are kind of poking out. That's all you see.
Milo's gonna swim out to her and like hop on her back and kind of tell her it's safe to go up on shore now.
And once again, you hear the familiar sound that you heard before, as if like it's like a submarine, breaking through the water, as it's just the holes of the skull kind of just dumping this water as Duchess kind of makes her way out.
Did she ever get out of the deep water?
You're not sure. So she makes her way out. You hear this kind of like dumping sort of sound all over. But yeah, so it's unlikely, right? Just for the record. And you see Duchess kind of like looking around. You see like a lot of this movement from Duchess that seems nervous, I think.
Milo's gonna climb.
Excuse me, sorry.
Well, Milo's gonna first say, Duchess, this is Cavish. He new friend recently saved me from some trouble. And then he's gonna look at Cavish and say 1 second, and he's gonna climb into the giant's eye and grab the remainder of the things from his satchel that he had left with Duchess to watch.
Cool. You see as you're kind of like poking your head as you're kind of going in and shifting your stuff. You see that like the talons of Celestra kind of like perched in and just kind of looking through the hole, like the other eye hole at you. Just curious.
Yeah. And then Milo's gonna come out and kind of while he's still like playing with Duchess, kind of, I mean, how you would like rustle a dog's ears and borderline like wrestle with the dog, but this dog happens to be 4 times his size, at least. He's gonna like pick a quadrant and show it some love.
Awesome. Cool.
And then
go ahead.
And then just kind of sit down in the sand next to Duchess and like lean up against her. I assume it is he's going to be trying to like calm her down and make her feel a little bit more comfortable, and then like so she can so she can kind of wiggle into the sand a bit and get more comfortable.
Okay, cool. So yes, I think this happens along the coast. I just realized I need waves sounds. I don't have that. I have the whole ambience of that, but not that. Oh wait. Sorry, I ruined the immersion, guys. I don't hear anything. Oh well. So as that's happening, I think we'll kind of take that moment to pause as you all kind of like make a space in the sand. But I will say before we switch off, Milo, we have established that you may not be familiar with the like factual things about mystical things, we'll say.
Yeah. He's real dumb.
But you have heard stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like a history check. Shot in the dark.
You said history?
Mm-hmm.
22.
Okay.
His favorite book. This is Milo's favorite book.
Yes, there is a story that you've heard of. Let me ask you this. Let's really personify this, because I feel like I've been pushing a lot of the story, especially in Milo's side of this. Milo, what is your favorite book?
Milo's favorite book was growing up. He would always be reading. I'm trying to think of a name, and all I can come up with is that the Harry Potter, the Adventures of Beetle the Bard, and it won't leave my brain.
I mean, you don't have to pick a name. You can just describe the story. We'll say.
Yeah. It was an adventure story of this kid who leaves home, has nothing for him at home, leaves home and makes it good, and comes back and changes the lives of those he left.
Okay, cool. So in that story that you read about, we'll say think of a name when you can, of the main character. We'll say, and just message me when you got it, or interrupt me and say it. But in the chapters of that we'll say the hero's journey of that, there was a certain point in time where you remember a fight with some heavily scarred magical creature, like very much in your like typical like big bad evil being that I would say you guys haven't really ever experienced one. I would say you saw the creature was described as having the head of a snake, but the body and the extended sort of humanoid sort of body, still scaly, but like standing like 12 feet tall. And the story talks about like how menacing this creature was, as the hero was like trying to kind of like fight back against this creature, because there was, the typical kind of like boon thing. You can kind of jump from there, but fighting this creature and losing, barely escaping with his life. And in that story, there was a being that that like played the character of like the wise old wizard that kind of helped you. I just realized what I'm describing, and if you think it's related to anything, it's not. Please don't think too hard. It's totally subconscious, I swear. We won't say wizard. We'll say wise old magical person. You remember coming back to this person, and or excuse me, the character coming back to this person and just saying like, I failed. I don't know how to beat this thing. You remember one of your favorite lines was, I'll say, I wish there was something to keep I wish there was something I had to keep everyone safe. And you loved that part of the story because there was a certain point. You love that part of the story probably because of that line, but you remember specifically in that chapter everything about that line, and the wise old spellcaster just kind of like looked over to a bird in a cage, and the bird that was in the cage granted that wish. And I've already gone way too much into it, so you can tell me how the bird granted that wish. I'll give you a second there because I'm going to make you do that because I feel like I'm talking too much.
How the bird granted the wish, like
granted the wish of I wish I could keep everyone safe. I'll say obviously in this case it was from this creature, but
I wish I could keep everyone safe. I think the bird is going to keep everyone safe from this creature. I think the bird is just going to create a large cage between the creature and the people.
Cool. Awesome. Like a cage around the creature, or a like gate barring?
We said the bird is in the cage, right?
A bird is in the cage. So you're far away from the scene. Like sorry, not you. The character ran back to safety and like said all this.
Yeah, I think the wherever logistically it makes sense that it would be around the creature, but I think for an animal that's in a cage, that lives its life in a cage, the response of I need safety would be to give the people who need safety a cage. If that makes sense?
Yes, absolutely. I love that. So a massive cage was made in a space that people could kind of walk in and out. But that was the response that was granted by that bird. You remember that bird was described as something that doesn't necessarily totally fit the type in the way that myths are based on some sort of truths. The bird was described as fully made of fire. But in that description, in the idea of that sort of magical being of bird, and noticing what you see about that plumage, you definitely have a suspicion that you know what this thing is. You're pretty sure this thing is a phoenix. I think that's a good spot to pause you there. So, cool. All right. So that means I believe is Wilbur next, right? Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Miranda, can you hear me okay? I cannot hear you. I am going to mute you, Jamie, just for a second. Or that works too. Thank you. Something I might hear you now.
Is it working now?
It's working now. Yeah. Hello. It's all good.
I don't know why it wasn't working.
It's all good. So coming to the scene, there is a, I think to kind of like set it into well, actually, you know what? I want you guys to start kind of taking the reins on some of this personification of a scene thing. What is the camera seeing right now for Wilbur?
Let me look at one thing real quick. Never mind, that's not going to be helpful. So I imagine when Cerilius appeared, just fucking out of nowhere, Wilbur probably has his back turned to him, and then hears his voice and just turns around and just stares him dead in the eyes at when he says, "What did I miss?"
Cool. Yeah, so you see a figure about maybe a 15-foot distance. Definitely a distance that you could move in a heartbeat to be able to close that distance. You do see there is a noticeable scar across his face. You see the wings are out, though they are. To call them wings would be tricky to say. They definitely were wings, but they're kind of just burnt stubs as of now. Still kind of in resplendent robes of white, but you can definitely see they're torn in places. And he's standing there, just arms behind his back.
Well, let's see. What did you miss, Cerilius? Well, first of all those wombats that you gave consciousness to just saw the scariest shit in their entire fucking life when Tall came to attack the Grove, and you were nowhere to be found to help defend the Grove. Luckily, your daughter helped save the day, as well as Riley. Let's see, what else did you miss? Tall has put a giant hit out for me. Yeah, it was fucking weird, and I don't know who else heard it, and who else to get me, and I have no idea where anyone else is, and I don't even know where I am.
Wow. You're on a reef.
Why am I on a reef? Where? I don't know where this is.
Well, right now it's nowhere.
That's very helpful. Thanks.
Wilbur, I feel like every time we meet, I have a bomb to drop on you, so I'm trying to be this is difficult for anyone to understand, but definitely creatures that haven't necessarily been around long enough to grasp maybe even the concept. We are sorry, Joe's pausing for a second. We are on the Palatial Reef, as it is known, at some point.
The palatial reef.
Palatial. Yes.
Palatial.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't help me. Why am I here? I don't even know how I got here. I just poofed.
It is quite remarkable. Terrifying, in fact. Wilbur. No, I said we'll kind of just let this continue to go RP wise. I'm sorry, I wasn't there. I have an excuse, but it's a sin isn't justified by another sin. So I'm sorry.
Why are you here now? How did you know where I am?
I didn't. I was sent here.
By who?
Whom? I'm sorry. I just to clarify, it's whom.
You're about to piss me off.
She's safe. I don't know. Brumhilda was at the gates of Celestia. It is difficult, extremely difficult magic to force someone out of heaven. But I did it at some cost. So she is on the material plane. She's safe. In some ways, right now, she's safer than she's ever been in her life.
What does that mean? You ever held hostage or something?
No, but she is whom she is. And as I mentioned, the others would the others change once they pass through the gates. The other living light. You see him at this point. You'll notice that he is continuously looking up.
What are you looking at?
I'm just waiting.
For what?
For something I saw many, many years ago. And that's when you see I say you probably look up to see what he's looking at. You see a small, it's kind of the middle of the day, but you feel like you almost kind of see like a star in the sky. The difference is the star seems to be getting bigger.
Like it's coming towards us, almost?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So should I be like bracing myself right now, Cerilius? What's happening?
No, it it won't be anywhere near us, but you see it getting bigger and bigger, and you start to see that there's flames that are kind of picking up off of it, and you notice that there are a couple other stars that are appearing in the background of it. As you see it kind of like seem to break up into the atmosphere of the material plane, you hear that whooshing sound as it whooshes past you. And there's a good probably about 5 seconds before you hear the distant. You start to see others move past.
What's going on?
You asked where you were. Should be more like when. You see a few more fly past. You hear the distance explosions.
Man.
And it takes you a second, but you realize what you're witnessing.
So this is when it happened?
Yes.
Weird.
I did not know Tal was capable of this. I don't know if he even knows what happened. But we are many years before you actually exist.
I still don't get it. Why am I here?
I don't know. More importantly, I cannot fix this. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? I'm stuck here? Like, I can't be stuck here.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they knew that they sent me to this time period. But we are without a paddle.
Well, there has to be some way to get out of here.
Depends on if you have anything that can help us. I will be of no use in this situation.
What do you mean you'll be of no use? Aren't you supposed to be really powerful? What happened to you anyways? Did Broomhilda do that to you?
In a manner of speaking. Actually, depending on how you look at it, I did this to me. I would tell you if you were waiting for a chance that I was at my weakest, you've got it. Just in case.
I don't want to hurt you.
Oh, well, good.
I mean, I do, but I don't.
Well, what do non-magical beings do in this situation?
I don't know. I just want to get out of here. How far away, like, as these things are kind of falling, are they, like, how far away from me are they?
I would say in the space of, like, very similar to how you're, like, how one would kind of track the idea of where, like, a lightning bolt is hitting. Mm-hmm. You have no idea.
Gotcha.
I will say this. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. You got good ears. It's pretty high.
24.
Okay. I would say the space between the seeing the explosion and hearing it, I would say it's a good judge that it was probably around, like, trying to do math here. Hold on one second. Oh, actually, I have a thing right here that can help me out with that. Maybe just under 1,000 miles away.
Sweet.
Probably closer to, like, 750.
Okay. No, I mean, seriously, it's like, what do we do from here? How do we get out of here? I don't know where anyone is. All I know is that I saw through Eldrin's eyes, and she was with some weird giant bird-looking things, and talking about going back to Honoria.
Mm-hmm. Some powerful eyes you have there. The Eldrin that you know is actually, how old is Eldrin? Like, actually?
Oh, like actually, probably like 21.
In actual years?
In actual years, yeah.
Cool. She is in no way, shape, or form close to being born yet. Her mother might not even be alive yet.
No. My parents were in their like 60s and 70s or 70s, I think.
Okay. Yeah, because I think nope. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away any secrets that accidentally, but.
Is Lorianne talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't hear her.
Okay. We can hear you, so if you want to switch to the volume of the screen that you're looking at, you can.
So I tried opening up the screen with the link that you sent me, and it wouldn't work.
Okay. All right. I'll say, I mean, this is a better scene to have that happen, as you're really, we'll say for now, I'm the only one that's in the scene.
Okay.
The thing that was discussed is how old Eldrin was, and trying to figure out that stuff, and then how old Eldrin's parents are. So I will say Eldrin's parents aren't even born yet.
Jesus.
But I don't know if Wilbur would know that either. So yeah, it doesn't really.
Yeah.
So.
I think Wilbur would ask Cureless, like, so how long ago was this event?
I think that's right. We'll kind of go with that mark for now. I think.
I have my note that it's 150 years ago. Originally, we had written down that it was 300, but you had me cross that out and put 150.
Awesome. Cool. So we'll say 150 years ago. So yeah, you're probably right at the 150 years. 150 years back. Exactly. Because.
Great. So I'm stuck 150 years in the past on the palatial plain on a reef with you who said that you're like no use here right now. What the heck do I do?
You see, as you're explaining this, you look up and you see Cerilius has like his tongue kind of like out with a rock as he's watching like a crab kind of go by. Huh. And just throws the rock, not even close to hitting the crab. Okay. Sorry, what was the question? I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
Can you eat a reef? Because I'm not eating a crab. Run faster. Run faster, little crab.
I don't. Maybe you can eat a reef. I don't know. I haven't needed to. Like, ever.
So you want to tell me of anything else that's been happening? Do you magically know where anyone else is? Like, is my mom still at the Grove?
Wilbur, I just tried to kill a
Where's
crab with a
Sarah?
rock. It's gone. Okay. It's gone. Everything that I could use to help us I am just like you. Worse than you, actually. I know. It's very sad.
I don't even know how to take that. Wilbur's just going to start walking away from him.
Okay. You can't get very far. You are on a sandbar that's about, I think we said, 100 feet? Maybe less?
Yeah, something like that.
Wilbur can't hear me, but can't he breathe water?
He can breathe water, yes. Wilbur, you can breathe water.
What do Honoria? From the past, Zaris is probably there.
Well, I guess I'm going to go for a swim because there's nothing else to do.
Are you planning on coming back?
I don't know. I don't even know how I got here, so I don't think I know how to get back here.
I understand. Good luck, Wilbur the Wombat. Until we meet again. Well, good luck. You see him pick up a rock and start to just kind of like, walks off, not very far, probably maybe 10 feet, and just looking. I mean, inside check if you want. Your call.
Sure, why not? Oh, that's not very good. 8.
8. Okay. I'll say with an 8, like something is off for sure. Cerilius is using a rock to get food, and not just immediately bamfing you guys out of there. I mean, this being with some help with some magical items, was able to transport back and forth between planes. Even with an 8, you know something is wrong, something's up. And he seems to have like fully accepted some sort of fate, I think.
Yeah. It feels like he made some sort of weird deal. Something.
I can help Miranda out in this for a second in telling you that you know that the living light, when transported to Celestia, which I know is very confusing. We have Celeste, the person, Celeste, the town, and then Celestia. So I apologize. But Celestia itself, which is the like heavenly realm, like burned up on the spot, like just like died.
I have Mario media.
Do y'all have any of those storms coming through right now?
It's not supposed to rain until like later in the week, I don't think. Oh no, thunderstorms possible around 1 a.m.
We're back. Sorry about that. Miranda should be joining us, assuming that she didn't do anything. Oh, she might have. I'll go check because the stream is still kind of freaking out, so I'm not sure if they're going to see that. Sorry, everybody who's watching. It's a quick internet kerfuffle. I'll be right back.
I got it.
Miranda, can you hear me?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me this time?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Yay! Wilbur's on the palatial reef. That means Anoria is underneath you.
Perfect.
Really deep underneath you.
Honey, go ahead and flip that camera for us if you don't
You
mind.
can meet my like great grandfather. NRS have been ruling for a very long time.
Are you suggesting that Wilbur do the nasty and the pasty?
Whoa.
Yikes.
That was a jump.
Didn't you say you could be my great grandfather?
Yeah, hold on one second. We're gonna try and figure out what's happening with Miranda's phone. Hold on.
I hate everything.
Okay. Should be good now, I think. Waiting for... Okay, cool. We'll say as Miranda's kind of coming back in, we'll just kind of move that over because we were kind of close to that point anyways. Unless she's good to go. Say something, babe.
Say something.
I'm giving up on you.
Say it again.
Say something.
Okay, a little bit of a weird latency, but we'll work with it. Okay, cool. So where do we leave off?
Wilbert's gonna go for a swim.
Yeah. So Wilbur, you see. I will say, even with an 8, you do see like. It seems like unless Cerilius is being is like trying to trick you in some way, there's a good chance that if you leave Cerilius will just either die or never leave that spot. And I'm not trying to guilt Wilbur into this right now. I'm just stating the facts.
I mean, what are you're just gonna stay here? Like you really can't.
I feel something in me, but I imagine that's probably hunger, right?
I hate it so much.
I hate him.
I hate him so much. Why that's funny to me. Well, can I? I'm looking at my notes here.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all still here? Or is my thing just freaking out?
I would just keep on going, hon. You're there. Your signal is really bad, so right now. So it's probably just trying to catch up. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. We're going to move on from Miranda real quick, just until things kind of catch back up to where they are. So we will switch over to our friends in the wonderful world of Farah.
So, I have a question.
Sure.
Our plan was to sleep, but we literally just woke up like a few hours ago, right? And then battled. And then, like, what time is it? Because wasn't like the battle in the morning?
Oh, yeah. And I would say it was daytime when I think we said, did we say a specific time when you popped up?
I think it was daytime.
Yeah, so just basically you saw the sun in the sky. I will say it was quite the battle. I think,
Yeah.
It's your call.
Okay. So, so I mean, we ended with Eldrin and Guar basically yelling at each other that they were happy they were here together. So Eldrin, I would say she's like, she lays down in a corner and is trying to go to sleep, but is having trouble.
Okay.
So at one point, I think she just huffs and sits up. I don't know if Guar's just been quiet this whole time. You can decide, Mike. And just says, "This isn't working. I can't sleep. There's too much going on."
I mean, you didn't even try that long. Are you sure?
What if they're all dead, Guar? Wilbur and Saren and Milo.
Why would you think that? We just got here. Like,
Because it's just me and you here. Where are the rest of them?
I don't know. I don't even know where here is, really. Can we just figure that out first and then go from there? Because at this point...
Yeah.
we have no knowledge outside of there's bird people out there, and they didn't like how I talked to them. And I just want them to fight with us because I think it'd be really cool if we had some bird warriors to fly down from the skies and rain havoc on our enemies. So I think that would be really good, and then we can figure out where everyone else is. We can't control our knowledge or not of where they are. All we can control is where we are now and where to go from here.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. Zaris can help us when we get back to Enoria. I mean, he can help figure out where everyone is. Maybe get everyone back together somehow.
Okay. I'm open to that. Are you open to us trying to communicate with these bird people to see if we can perhaps just at least gauge if they are against Tal or open to finding Wilbur and turning him in?
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Here's what, just in case it goes south, I think I should prepare the spell so that if things do go bad,
well, I hope it goes south. I mean, we're very far north at this point.
No, Gwar, I mean, if things go poorly with talking with them, we can quickly get out of here if we need to.
Why didn't you just say that?
I was trying to use the words that you people use on land. I apologize. I won't try that again.
No, please
No,
keep trying.
I'm done. I'm going to sleep now. Good night, Gwar.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were done trying to go to sleep. Okay.
No. Eldrin's going to try and go to sleep.
Gwar just starts meditating.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And you guys are kind of in this like sort of dark, dingy dungeon, so we'll change the music for that. Okay. Gwar, as you're meditating, first off, is Eldrin actually sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think after a while she probably does fall asleep. It was a really tough battle, so.
Okay. Gwar, give me a religion check.
That is an 18.
18. Gwar, as you're meditating, do you imagine that you meditate with your eyes closed or open?
Closed.
Okay, cool. So in this dark, I think we said windowless, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. In this dark windowless room, you actually, again, we'll kind of do the same thing. We'll say kind of like paint me a picture. Where does Gwar go in this meditation?
You know, I think Gwar would want to obviously figure out, I think to continue with what he was saying to Eldrin, try to just understand, get some guidance from either from Bahamut or maybe he's doing some sort of like mental search for Celeste or calling out on some level, just asking for guidance on like how to, maybe some clarity on how to talk to the Aarakocra, or if it's even worth it. But I also think his mind would go to Celeste, because this is one of the rare quiet moments that they've had in a while. And so I think he would start to try to think about that, but I would imagine that his mind would start to glide toward, where's Celeste? Where are you? Why hast thou forsaken me? Things like that.
Interesting. Visually, where is Guar? Is Guar in a like white room sort of like instance? Is it just total darkness and the like the concepts are all auditory or
like mentally? Okay, so I would imagine Guar would envision there maybe is like a shaft of light coming from the ceiling and it's just enveloping him. That sort of thing. Is that what you're thinking, like mentally?
I'm saying, so you're meditating, your eyes are closed. What is your mind's eye seeing?
I would imagine he would feel maybe he's outside of his body a little bit, and there's a shaft of light coming down and just like enveloping him, and then so like he's seeing light, and it's probably just like an empty space, kind of like if you guys saw The Good Place, like The Void. It's just a white space. It's a blank space. Yeah.
So not necessarily a light shining around. It's just the whole room is like there is no room anymore. There's a white room. I can imagine
it coming down and then just like expanding into or like in the Matrix before Neo goes, "We need guns," you know.
So that white room.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. So in the space of that white room, moving outside your body, so you're actually seeing your body kind of just like kneeling down, or are you kneeling? Yeah. Are you Indian style?
I'd say probably kneeling.
Okay, cool. Kneeling. In your head is just kind of in this like prayerful sort of pose, like kind of heading down. You move outside your body as you normally do. And in this space, you do not see Eldrin, as it makes sense, as you are kind of in your mind's eye, and Eldrin doesn't exist in that space right now. You start to see almost in a space that I think initially feels like an invasion, because you know you didn't create it. You start to see the first thing you see is actually like small little like indentations in the ground of this white room. You see them kind of like spiraling in some like intricate sort of curvy designs. You know that you didn't they don't look familiar to you. I think Guar definitely has a proclivity to a proclivity to feeling possessed. So there's probably because you've been possessed. So there's probably an immediate sort of jolting feeling. What does Guar do in seeing the sort of designs on the floor of this? It doesn't look like it's in a specific like direction. There's no like pointed arrow or anything. What do you do?
So it's not heading towards him?
No, it's just right in front of your body.
I would certainly be on guard, but I wouldn't move yet.
Okay.
Maybe I'd have like my halberd out in front of me, like not in a defensive pose, but just at the ready, maybe on my lap.
Okay.
Knowing it may not do anything, but Guar's gonna die trying.
You hear 99.9% sure. Okay, great. You hear the phrase, "More soldiers, quickly," said out to you in Celestial. in a space that kind of reverberates off of this room, so in so much that you don't hear it necessarily coming in any different direction, and you start to see shadows of angelic wings pass over you quickly. So you see about like maybe 4 or 5. They are going in a direction. They're going away from you.
Okay. I think Guar would follow them.
Okay.
Because Guar's asking for guidance and some clarity, so they might lead me to some.
You are not entirely sure how this works, but you just try to think forward.
Sure.
And at first you're not really sure that it's working because you're seeing your body still in that same sort of pose right in front of you. You see that the lines, intricate lines like on the ground, are moving towards you. And I'd say after about a second, you feel like in some weird way you're moving forward, but you and your body are connected in this.
Okay.
So you push forward. You start to hear the sounds of clinging metal, a very familiar sound for Guar. You instinctively kind of perk up. You're kind of like in an alert state, and I think actually as you do so, you start to kind of like fizz out a little bit. I think a part of your physical body actually kind of like jolts a little bit, and recognizing that if you react, you're going to lose whatever this is.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm going to hold fast and try to keep moving forward to see what's going on.
Okay. And keep moving, trying to kind of steady your breath, recognizing that you are not physically there. You see about 4 or 5. I'll say at this point you see about 6 angelic beings surrounding some other humanoid figure that you can't really quite make out. You see this figure has a particularly long halberd that is out in front of them and is waving it around, and screaming at the top of his lungs, "No!" and just like long, like "No!" As he is trying to keep these beings back, which is very difficult for a flying creature. So it's a lot of this and this, but not doing a terrible job.
Does this humanoid look different than the other Celestials?
You definitely notice less. You see all these Celestials kind of like have these like gleaming sort of golden armor. You see that there's helmets that are there that are kind of like pointed out and like kind of like flowing to the back. You also see that there is most of them are of a like flowing golden blonde hair. You're seeing that this figure, at this point, as you're noticing the differences with them, you see this figure, you don't see wings. At least, definitely not wings as big as the other ones. Do you push further?
Yeah, I do.
You push further, and the instant you say, well, the equivalent of 5 feet forward, you recognize this being. This is Cureless.
Yep.
You see the burnt wings. You see one of them manages to kind of be able to move through, grab the halberd around and slash down, slashing across his face. Fully kind of even in that blow, knocking him to the ground. Immediately you see 3 or 4 kind of get on top of him and try to kind of hold him down. There is enough going on here to distract you. So I would like you to give me a perception check as you're outside of your body.
That is a 23.
Okay, you guys are rolling high tonight, man.
I'm 18.
You see a vision. You see this. The background itself behind this whole thing is kind of just faded out in your view of what's been happening. Right, the focus of the scene is here, but something kind of draws you to look past it as the figure is being taken down and then actually like pulled to his feet with several with like one of the bigger sort of armed angels like just full Nelsoning behind his back. You see it, the proverbial golden gates. And there's a space where there's almost a calming feeling of that. There's a like a space of like, okay, it does exist. It is like that the myths foretold of those things. There's the you get a full idea of what's kind of happening in the space of Cerilius is here fighting a bunch of angels in heaven. So you have the what? But you said with a 22?
23, but yeah.
23. With a 23, something tells you to move forward past this fight.
Okay.
Do you do so?
Yep.
Okay. Your body awkwardly moves through Cerilius's form, your actual body moves through Cerilius's form as the floor itself continues to kind of move forward, and you see there is a there are two figures that you see large wings, but they're shadowed because they're still so far away. But you can definitely kind of see wings as one of them is moving to push the gates open, as another one is carrying a unconscious form. Do you choose to push forward?
Yes.
You move past as you continuously hear, no, 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 from behind you. The form that is unconscious, you see something fall from it, proverbially the head. Most likely the head side. As you see it, it looks like it's some sort of hat. And even though they're still almost silhouetted from the distance that they're in, you see long golden hair. And you know that hair.
Sure do.
What does Guar do in this moment?
I think Guar, in that realization, wants to keep going, wants to keep understanding, but I also think Guar wouldn't be able to control himself and be like, "Where are you taking her?"
You shout out. You see the figure. And it's a lot of this is kind of moving in slow motion. You see the figures continuing to push the gates open. They don't seem to hear you.
I think at that point, Guar would say, "Bromhilda! Talk to me! I will find you!"
No response. The gates continue to push open as I don't know if I believe Guar knows this. First off, let's make sure, because I've always been confused. I sometimes get confused in this. Does Guar know what Broomhilda is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
Broomhilda is at least half living light.
Yeah.
Right.
Does Guar know the story of what happens when living lights go into Celestia?
She told
No.
you before you guys had sex.
Remind me, because I don't remember.
Broomhilda, well, when the living light passed through Celestia, they burned up.
Oh, wow. Fuck. Okay. So Guar would be at this point freaking the fuck out and doing anything he possibly could to get like control of his body so he could like stop them somehow.
Looking back, you look at your body on the ground, and you're starting to kind of like you're knowing in your head, it's like it's tearing, it's legitimately like tearing a part of your heart. You're knowing that in the visceral reaction of doing anything, you're having to also keep your composure as much as possible, because the more you freak out, the more likely you're going to lose whatever this is.
Right.
But you can't let this stand, whatever this is. If this is really happening, you need to do something against it.
Yes.
With that 23, you notice that your out of body sees the halberd on the ground that is at the now restrained Cerilius' feet. You know that you move through these beings. You literally kind of moved through them as you moved past that scene. So looking behind you, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
What does Guar do?
I'm going to try to grab it.
Okay.
While remaining calm.
Yeah. You race toward it. You're not sure how this works. This is, if you haven't been able to interact with anything in this, I would say, Guar not really understanding anything of really what's going on, I would say Guar immediately recognizes you're not able to interact with any sort of physical object here. So what are you doing? You don't have any weapons on your extra planar body here. So you're grabbing at a weapon that will not be able to do anything. What does Guar think of to kind of overcome the ridiculousness of this moment? What is it that inspires Guar to at least try? Give us the kind of
love, man. It's love. It's all the stuff that he talked to Brumhilda about the night before the battle. It's this, I will, it's not just his love for her, but also just this is what Guar does for everyone he loves. He doesn't care how ridiculous it is. He doesn't care how stupid it might look. He's going to do whatever it takes to protect the people he loves. And he will die trying.
Guar, you go to grab the halberd, thinking these thoughts. And we blip out of this scene. The camera blips out. Milo. The camera blips in with you and Duchess embracing, playing, wrestling. We see Cavish and Celestra looking on. You see Cavish laughing, enjoying the joy of this moment. The scene blips out. Scene blips in. It's more of a memory in Eldrin's sake, as Eldrin is dreaming of a better time. Probably one of the best times she can ever think of. What is that time?
I would say the day that her and Norris got married and Guar officiated. You know, the thing that happened like 4 days ago.
Mm. The scene we see is words being exchanged,
hands being cut,
awkward laughter, shifting of seats. Wilbur in a full crazy getup, seaweed dress, full weeping. Scene blips out. We come back in to Saren, putting a hand up to just kind of tell Gerard that he's there. Put a hand on Gerard's skin. You see an immediate kind of lurch from Gerard as Gerard kind of looks at you and then looks back towards the moorbounder that has gone back to drinking the water. Saren, what do you say to Gerard?
Calm down. He's just like you. I don't think we should hurt him. He's just thirsty.
Saren, you know your moorbounder very well.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen this look. You say anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Scene ends with both of you looking out towards this creature. Blips out again. And we blip into Wilbur, seeing Cerilius broken, cut across his face. You see torn clothes, the burnt wings, still holding the rock, trying to find something. What does Wilbur decide to say in this moment? Can't hear you.
Wait,
there
can
we go.
you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Wilbur will say to Cerilius, I can't just leave you here. You can't even kill a crab with a rock. You're gonna die here by yourself. I have to find you help.
You see him kind of bring the rock down, look back at you. What did you roll on your original insight check? I believe it was an 8.
Yeah, it was an 8.
Okay. We're adding this moment's roll to that, which is 10. So with an 18, you see the figure looking back at you. Cerilius the Great, no more. You don't know the situation that Guar knows. But you can see a imperfect being that has certainly made some mistakes, but is currently living with sacrifices made to save them. Wilbur, do you say anything else?
I don't think Wilbur would say anything else right away. He would just wait to hear if Cerilius had a response.
I think you hear him say, "You deserve a right to just walk away, you know."
Sure, maybe, I guess, but I'm not just going to leave you here.
Why not?
It's just not who I am. I can't leave you here.
It made you to survive, Wilbur.
Well, I need you to survive because I don't know anything about any of all of this that's happening. There's so many questions that I still have. I can't let you die.
I do not have the power to help you anymore. I don't understand. You know this. It's better for you to lose any dead weight.
What can you tell me about this palatial plane? We're near all this water. Are we close to Anoria?
I don't know. You're better off on your own.
How? I don't know where I'm even at. How am I better off on my own? I don't know.
I can't help you. I understand. It's okay. You can leave me. Truly.
Well, oh shoot. So, I don't know if everyone else knows this. So Wilbur can make a 15-foot radius globe of breathable air around him. So Wilbur on a fly is going to grab Cerullius by the hand and drag him towards the edge of the reef with him and say, maybe we can find Honoria together.
Okay. Do you jump in?
Yep. I'll cast the little breathable air globe and drag him in with me.
Okay. The globe happens, and you see him kind of like looking around. Just kind of nods his head as you dive in, hands held together. And that scene blips out. There's a long pause of black, just for effect. As we come back to a scene with Guar holding a ghostly looking halberd. It's the same sort of ethereal sort of like space that you take up. It's borrowed in, like it's borrowed the same version of whatever this like ghostly images of your body. You don't feel the metal of it, but you do feel the weight of it. Guar, what do you do with it?
How close are they to the gate?
Pushing the gate open now.
Guar is going to move as fast as he possibly can. Like, how far away am I from the gate?
This is RP moment. Just roleplay. You can make it.
Guar's going to throw the halberd.
Okay.
At the head of the person carrying Brunhilde. No. Retcon.
I will say the gate isn't open yet.
I was going to say, could I throw it in a way that would jam the gate?
Sure.
Because I don't know these Celestials. They could be good. I don't want to kill anyone yet. I want to keep Brunhilde from going through those gates. So if I could throw the halberd towards something that could jam the gates and keep them from opening, that's what he would do.
Okay. You pick up that ghostly image of the halberd. You take a few steps, and you hurl it, javelin style. I need you to make an attack roll with Celeste.
Yes, sir. 27.
With a 27, you...
Natural 19.
Very nice. With a 27, you slam the halberd into the gates, and actually you see it actually kind of just go through, fully just you didn't mean for this to happen, but this is where we are. We're trying to jam the gates as they're being pushed open. It goes through and completely sinks through the chest of the angel that's opening it.
Okay.
No reaction, no response. The gate's still opening. And then you hear in Celestial, "Stop. Cerilius, no, don't. Somebody stop this." As you look behind you and you see the actual halberd raise up as if someone's holding it, turn, face the gates, and jettison forward. There is a massive explosion of light as the gate gets struck, and you see in slow motion it breaks through the gate, the main area of the gate where that lock would be, breaks through, goes through the angel, the solar that is opening it, and you see the response from the solar as the solar is looking around trying to figure out what happened, and a huge burst of energy that looks very much like your divine smite bursts from this creature. You see the other solar go flying back, and Brimhilda go flying up in the air. Instinctively, your body moves directly forward to try to grab Brimhilda, to try to like move her to safety. And I'm going to need a Constitution saving throw.
Con save is +6. That is a 23.
23, okay.
Yeah.
With a 23, you're able to grab hold of Brimhilda as Brimhilda wakes up, as you're continuing to kind of push forward, and you can feel yourself just like you felt your body kind of twitch earlier in the response to that. You feel your body kind of like starting to kind of twitch again, as you can feel yourself kind of blipping out. You see Brimhilda open her eyes, looking around briefly, and then seeing your face. What do you say to Brimhilda before you completely blip out?
I will find you. Stay safe.
You see her look up at you, smile, and nod as the scene blips out. And with that, we will end tonight's session. See you in a week. Bye.